Israel has pushed back against a statement by more than 100 aid and human rights organizations accusing it of orchestrating mass starvation in Gaza and urging the lifting of all restrictions on humanitarian aid. In a post on X, Israel's foreign ministry said that the groups, including Mercy Corps, the Norwegian Refugee Council, and Doctors Without Borders, MSF, were serving the propaganda of Hamas and undermining ceasefire negotiations. Israel reiterated its denial of responsibility for food shortages, claiming that 708 trucks are waiting for UN agencies to collect and distribute. Aid groups and UN officials, however, have repeatedly cited access restrictions and logistical barriers imposed by Israel. The World Food Programme has warned of famine-like conditions in Gaza, citing soaring malnutrition and extreme food shortages. The WFP Emergencies Director Ross Smith said that Gaza is facing astonishing levels of desperation, with over a third of the population going days without food. Nearly 100,000 women and children are suffering from severe acute malnutrition. The WFP is calling for full access to deliver aid and urged all parties to keep armed groups away from convoys and distribution sites. Médecins Sans Frontières, or MSF, has warned that Gaza has reached a breaking point with widespread hunger, collapsing health services, and growing barriers to humanitarian access. "We are at the tipping point," said Amanda Bezrol, MSF's head of emergency in the Palestinian territories. Bezrol said that 100% of Gaza's population now requires mental health support, and severe malnutrition is rapidly rising. Hospitals are overwhelmed, staff are exhausted and starving, and aid remains blocked at entry points. MSF and over 100 NGOs are calling for an immediate permanent ceasefire and the full lifting of aid restrictions. The Israeli Knesset is set to vote today on a resolution backing the so-called sovereignty over the occupied West Bank. Israel's Knesset is expected to vote on a non-binding resolution supporting the imposition of Israel's sovereignty over the West Bank, a move widely seen as a step towards formal annexation. According to Channel 12, the proposal comes from coalition members and is backed by key ministries, or rather ministers, including Energy Minister Eli Cohen, who called it a historic step. The vote, though symbolic, signals escalating political and military tensions since October the 7th, 2023. Israeli sources said that Gaza ceasefire talks are in their final stage, with Hamas expected to reply to the latest proposal within hours. Israeli media report that most disputes in the Gaza ceasefire negotiations have been resolved, with a final response from Hamas expected tonight or tomorrow. Officials say that the remaining points relate to withdrawal lines and detainee releases, with gaps narrowing significantly. The U.S. has warned Hamas that certain guarantees may be withdrawn if a timely response is not received. Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has reiterated Egypt's firm support for Palestine, calling for a Gaza ceasefire and a political path to peace. He called for practical steps towards implementing the two-state solution and backed a clear political path to achieve lasting peace in the Middle East. Madbouli also firmly rejected any displacement of Palestinians, denouncing it as a violation of international law. At least 100 Palestinians, including 34 aid seekers, were killed and 534 injured in Israeli attacks across Gaza in the past 24 hours. The Gaza Health Ministry reported 13 bodies were recovered from the rubble of earlier strikes. Since October 7, 2023, Israeli attacks have killed over 59,000 people and injured more than 143,000 in Gaza. Since May 27th, when a new aid distribution system was introduced, 1,068 seekers have died and over 7,200 have been injured. Multiple explosions were reported over Gaza this morning, with smoke rising for hours. Amid ongoing violence, more than 100 aid and human rights organizations issued a joint call demanding an immediate and permanent ceasefire, along with the lifting of all restrictions on humanitarian aid. In a statement signed by 111 groups including Mercy Corps, the Norwegian Refugee Council and Refugees International, the organizations warned that mass starvation is spreading rapidly in Gaza. They stressed that tons of food, clean water and medical supplies remain stranded just outside the enclave, blocked from reaching those in desperate need. A former U.S. security guard for the controversial U.S.-backed GHF aid organization has accused the group of mistreating Palestinians and using excessive force against unarmed civilians. Speaking to Israel's Channel 12, he recounted incidents where a Palestinian seeking food was pepper sprayed and a stun grenade was thrown at a Palestinian woman. He described the GHF system as beyond repair and condemned the excessive use of force against unarmed civilians. The GHF denied the allegations and stated that the guard was dismissed due to misconduct.